cool.
I love them porgs.
And welcome back, guys, to the Market Best Movie Podcast again. I am here with...
Abhijit Srirangam, production editor of The Messenger.
My name is Austin Woods. I'm the associate editor of The Messenger.
This is...
And I'm Charlie Wight, the featured guest of this episode.
My name is Alex McAteer, the opinions editor and your host of the Market Best Movie Podcast.
Now the opinions editor.
Yeah, also trash editor, also editor and chef. So, I think we want to open with our Star Wars trailer reactions because half of us just watched it for the first time.
I don't know if I'll put that in or not, but I might just put like a little, like a cold open or something.
I think
edit a lightsaber into my hand now.
No.
I wish.
He might.
I could.
He might.
All right.
Thoughts?
Yeah. So So we just saw the new Star Wars trailer for the Last Jedi. Yeah. Is this the official trailer?
Not official trailer too.
Yeah, official trailer. So what'd you think?
I mean, I'm not surprised that I thought it was really cool because it's Star Wars. You know, they're not going to screw it up. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
Episode 1.
Oh, well, yeah. But
I still really enjoyed that film.
Yeah.
Whose direction is Rian Johnson?
Rian Johnson.
Well, the thing is, I think Disney knows what they're doing more than, like, George Lucas alone, you know?
Well, they're there to make money. They know what we want.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
I think that's kind of the way I want to look at it.
Yeah. Anyway, as for the trailer, though, two things. I'm excited to see more of
porgs.
Yeah. I'm not.
If you don't know what porgs are, they're that little like weird giant eyeball penguin looking thing.
I'm not anti-porg. Not anti-porg. I'm excited to see more. What's the name of the silver stormtrooper general? Yeah, I'm excited to see more of her because in the first movie, obviously,
she was in the trash compactor.
Yeah, exactly.
She literally did. Like,
she didn't do much, but I mean, that's not a criticism on the movie because obviously she just wasn't playing a big part in the story that the first movie was telling. But I'm excited to see the part that she plays in this story. I'm excited about that because I think she seems really cool. And I'm also excited for... I forgot what the second thing was.
Rip.
What was the last thing I said? Or what was the thing I was going to say?
Porgs.
I don't know. I really like the actor who plays Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, I've always liked him because he looks like Marilyn Manson, and the idea of like a really gothic, Darth Vader type figure is just really cool to me.
He's like super edgy.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him so much. He's weird because
he's like the emo teen of the gang.
Yeah, I love him.
I do like that too.
Carrie Fisher, may she rest in peace.
God,
I didn't. So, did she shoot all her scenes before she died?
She finished episode 8, yeah.
And they were doing most of episode 9 too.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
There was talk of CGing her, which I'm not overtly against because I think the CG is.
What I'm curious is
some people are.
Yeah, I'm sure it looked. They CG'd Tarkin.
Yeah,
and that looked. I actually thought he was there.
It caught me for a while until I read it afterwards.
That was really impressive.
Oh, it was so fake. Like I don't know.
No, that was.
Who is this guy who's acting?
No, super impressive.
Yeah.
So
for about halfway through Rogue One, I didn't really notice. I didn't really pick up on it. And I was like, something's not it's.
I think Rogue One was their trial run, and I think they decided against it. What were you going to say, Charlie?
I remember what I was going to say.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
I'm sorry, Charlie. Okay, I hope that this does not make the same mistake that the previous one made, where it follows too closely to its to the originals.
It's a retracing of episode 4.
This one, or do you mean the last one?
7 one.
Yeah,
that's what people's complaints.
That's what I didn't like about it, and I hope this one doesn't do that with The Empire Strikes Back.
So how do you feel about it, Charlie?
I kind of feel like it kind of has the more Empire-sided feel to it, especially if
the walkers.
Yeah, the walkers. Those are new version AT-ATs, right?
They're pretty sick.
Yeah, and also, what was I going to say? It was Finn too. Seeing you see Finn walking in the hangar itself, and it's you're not sure why he's there alongside the rest of the stormtroopers. So we may see a secret order given to Finn or something like that.
Yeah, it does seem kind of like episode 5, your main hero, the Jedi person, off training with the master, and then everybody else kind of doing their own thing separately. But I hope it. I mean, that's I
think it'll be different enough because I think Disney's smart enough to say, okay, they didn't really like that.
Yeah.
How do we make it Star Wars that everyone knows and loves, but also entertaining and different? They're not dumb.
No, of course not. And that's the only thing about from the trailer that I can glean that makes it similar to episode 5. And I have no idea what else is that. But dude, those ice fox thingies look so beautiful.
Those were cool.
And like amazing. Those look cool.
So
also,
what else did you like in it?
What else I liked? I liked the fact that the red lettering at the end. It was kind of like if I'm mistaken, that was Revenge of the Sith that did that.
I think.
Did they do that?
Revenge of the Sith is the only other one with red lettering.
Oh.
I think it is the darkest movie in the series, I think.
Yeah, so I think this one may as well be.
That's the one where he kills the kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely the darkest movie in the series.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It was red, yeah. And also it was, I mean, I don't know if this is kind of a spoiler or not, but because it's Jedi, and Jedi is both like singular and plural, so in Spanish it said Los Helios, so they mean it in the Jedi plural.
So I think I want to bring up the fact that like we see Luke as kind of this guy who's been all cooped up on his little island, and I don't think he's very much ready for human interaction yet. Like apparently Daisy Ridley said that like Rey's gonna go meet Luke, and it's not really what she expects out of him. Like it's a little disappointing. Yeah. And I think we're gonna see a Luke who's very much struggling to deal with the darker parts of himself. Like we see in episode 6, he taps into that. Yeah, he cuts his father's hand off, and he sees the mechanical bits of it, and he says, "Oh wow, that's like me," and the symbolism of Luke slowly turning into Vader's there. You know what I mean?
I love that.
So I think what Luke is going to eventually do is he's going to be afraid to use his powers, but something's going to be an inciting incident, and I think Luke is going to learn to tap into the dark side while still remaining in the light. I think that's going to be what this film's about. I think it's going to be really interesting.
That'll be really interesting because in the originals, Luke was very idealized, and so it'll be pretty interesting to see that just completely flipped around.
Well, modern day characters are not stereotypical good guy, bad guys.
Yeah.
They're always in the middle.
Exactly. There's a lot of shades of gray, which I kind of like.
Well, it's kind of subverting the whole Star Wars formula because George Lucas's whole purpose with Star Wars was to sort of just call back to that mythology. Really old storytelling where everything is clear cut. That's sort of just the aesthetic.
I'm enjoying like the new like unconventional hero stories. Agreed. Because it's not like and they leave it ambiguous at the end of the trailer too. You're like, what's happening? Like is Rey going to the dark side? Is Kylo Ren coming to the good side? Like are they flipping? Are they going? I know it doesn't look like they're in the same location in that, but it's cool. That's the idea they wanted to get across, though, like through the trailer.
I totally agree.
So I don't know if like maybe, and what really excites me is like they're like screw the Sith, screw the Jedi. We're gonna go off and do our own thing. Like forget all of this.
I think that's also because Disney really, really, really wants to have their own properties, their own titles.
Yeah, like a very original.
They don't want to be dependent upon old Lucasfilm material,
which is good. Which is good if you ask me.
It's fine. I'm not ready to let go of Jedi and Sith as a whole, but I think twists upon those things aren't necessarily bad.
Right.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because I think they don't like to talk about the prequels, but in the prequels we learn stuff about the Jedi Order and how dysfunctional it is, and how their rigid morals really cause their downfall.
That's what I really liked about Rogue One, because Cassian was probably the most compelling character for me, because everyone was just there for a purpose. They served their purpose and then they left. But Cassian had like a really because in the first like episode 4, it's very like good guy versus bad guy, and like they're all clean and like it's all like very clear cut. But in Rogue One, it showed like both sides have like different shades of gray. Like Cassian's not a totally good guy, and like you can tell like the stormtroopers are just doing their job because that's what they have to do, and it sucks when they like have to fight other people.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see where they go with the whole Jedi saga. You know what I mean? Like it's very much still the story of the Skywalkers. And really, there's 1, 2 left, and they're really not heavily prominent in these films at this point. At least in episode 7, it wasn't. But it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. I think
I wouldn't feel too bad if Luke Skywalker died in this episode. I think it would probably they probably send him off in a fitting way. Maybe for some, I wouldn't care if he died. That
would break my heart.
I would break my heart too.
I almost cried when Han Solo died.
Me too.
So
what do you mean almost?
I think I actually might have cried. I don't remember.
Look at Luke as a character. So Mark Hamill, by the way, hamming it up in this trailer. Yeah. Like seriously, really giving it his all, his acting chops. Like his facial expression, the way his voice comes across. Amazing. I'm ready to see Luke as a full-on overpowered guy like we saw him in the extended universe. Like Grandmaster Luke Skywalker as he was, except I want to see that tinge of darkness. Because I don't think Luke Skywalker can operate without that being there, knowing his family heritage.
It's another parallel with Yoda, I mean, like the student becomes the master.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting for him as soon as he snaps out of it. And I think, of course, this isn't a spoiler because it's a theory, but, if this ends up happening, so, like, if Kylo does end up killing Leia, and apparently there's, like, talk of how, Kylo didn't want to kill Luke, and Luke didn't want to kill Kylo, so they both just called it a day and walked away from the Jedi Temple. So at that point, if Kylo has now killed Han Solo and Leia, his two closest friends, where does that leave Luke psychologically?
Right.
Probably in a pretty dark place, right?
Yeah, he did say, like, kill the past or bury it, something like that, remember? In the trailer,
that's
he says that. Oh, yeah, and then you see him, like, flying in the ship.
Oh, that, or
is
it Kylo who says that? But I know it's in relation to Kylo.
Exactly, yeah, and, like, he's, like, ready to press the button. So, I do like this. I do like Kylo Ren, because he's not just the big, bad guy, oppressing man. He's, like, he has his own shades of gray.
I think something has to be revealed in this film. Like, very much, the universe is in question right now, and we don't really know where everyone stands and how this universe is working.
Also, we still don't know who Snoke is.
He's the most questionable thing about all this.
Like, where did he come from? Why is he here?
Yeah.
Maybe he's... In the Star Wars thing, it's always about family. It always comes back to family, like who's related to who.
My thing is, and I don't love the idea of him being a Palpatine clone, but they have, like, he says, fulfill your destiny, and that is famously a Palpatine line, so I think that if I had a theory right now, one, either he's some ancient Dark Lord being that is awakened, and he's...
Force Awakened.
Exactly, yeah. So my theory would be that either he's some powerful Darksider from the past, or that he is a Palpatine clone, which either way, I don't know if I love a Palpatine clone, because if you wanted to do Palpatine, please bring back Ian McDiarmid, because he is Palpatine.
But it's Andy Serkis doing the mocap.
And he's phenomenal. Andy Serkis is the best at what he does.
I love him.
He is a world-class mocap man.
Mocap man.
Any last thoughts on the trailer before we move on?
Do you think we'll see Rey's origins in this movie?
No. Well, I think she's a forced virgin birth. I think she's like Anakin. I think that'd be interesting. How do you guys feel about that?
The virgin birth thing?
Yeah.
It's a little too obvious of an illusion for me to really get on board with. But I don't.
Well, if they reveal her origin in this episode, it'd be just like episode 5. Honestly, I'd be okay if I didn't know. Maybe,
I don't see the parallel there.
Well, because Luke finds out that Darth Vader's his father.
Yeah, but that's not his origin.
I know, but it's kind of like a big revelation.
Like, I love how Star Wars does the biblical allusions and the mythology allusions. That's always what's drawn me to it more than anything, honestly, because it's just very timeless. But with the whole virgin birth thing, it's like, okay, we all know what you're doing,
Yeah.
And I think the parallel would be interesting to Anakin more than, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a more interesting path.
Yeah, the Bible's a pretty boring.
So the Force created her in response to this, which is what Anakin is.
Yeah. Hey, okay, I need to blow my nose. Could I just wipe it on my shirt? Is that gross?
I don't care.
I mean, did you guys care?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
Do you care if Austin wipes his nose on?
Please don't judge me.
Take the poll in the
comments below. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
YouTube.com.
I'm gonna be doing this for a lot. So.
All right. Anyway. Yeah. So.
What's next on the agenda, man?
Yeah, favorite Halloween.
Favorite Halloween movies.
Oh.
That's completely open.
Ooh, man.
So I'm gonna make a B go first.
Okay, well, there's one that I don't know why I can remember this.
Halloween Town 2.
Is that the Disney one?
I don't know.
There was a Disney one. I think it was Halloween Town, where like
oh god, he's
all
serious.
the people. No, honestly, but that's the one I
Get
remember.
out of here.
It's like there's like everybody starts turning to stone. It's kind of like really messed up, and then they fight the bad guy. That's the one I remember for some reason.
Halloween Town.
But it's not my favorite. I do really like Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't really know if that's a Christmas or Halloween movie.
Both.
Yeah, it's kind of. That's my favorite. Honestly.
Thanksgiving, that too.
Yeah.
It counts as all those.
Nightmare Before Christmas is
Charlie?
my favorite.
What's a Cartoon Network movie they show every single year?
I know exactly.
With the Scary Godmother?
Yes.
Scary Godmother.
Scary Godmother.
Yeah, I know Scary
every single year.
It's horrible.
Every single year. I know, but you see, you can't get it out of your head.
You guys are weird. You're picking some baby stuff.
Movie, which one?
Dude, okay, hold on. Okay, well, my favorite horror movie of all time is The Shining, but that's a little
not
too.
A Halloween film.
Yeah, it's too sophisticated.
It's too good.
Are we talking a film that takes place around Halloween?
Or just something you like to watch?
Horror movie.
Or something you like to watch for Halloween. They get you in the Halloween spirit.
Come back to me.
I have
Come back to me.
I saw I saw Sinister for the first time.
Were you terrified?
When I watched
me and Charlie watched that together for the first time, and we were terrified.
Was it Sinister 1 or 2 where they're hanging
so.
from the tree and they got busted up?
1.
Oh yeah.
That's the scariest
I only
film.
watched the first one.
Like, in the moment, I don't think I've ever been as afraid of a film as Sinister 1.
Terrifying.
Looking back, like a second time, not that scary, but the first time, like on Charlie's couch in his living room, like there was something about the found footage vibe to it that just worked.
I think I mentioned this on our first episode of this season that like where like the one shot of Ethan Hawke. Was it?
Is he the main character? Yeah.
He's like sitting there, he's like thinking, and then in the photograph behind him, you see the Sinister Man move. Like he moves a bit, and that freaked me out. I got like chills. Even thinking about it, I get chills.
Well, it's one of those things that horror movies have always made you think is going to happen, but never does. And then it does happen, and you're all messed up.
Yes, and there's so many things in the movie that are like it doesn't spell it out for you or like show you explicitly, but
it's there.
Something moves, and you're like, oh, what was that, dude?
Yeah. The audio cues aren't there.
Yeah, and on my drive home, as I was driving home, I was terrified because I was like, is something going to like just appear out of nowhere? Or some dude just going to be standing there, and am I going to look in my rearview mirror? It's going to be a silhouette of a man.
I know my answers now.
What is it?
I'm going to go with 3 movies.
Oh,
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
Oh, good.
The Exorcist.
Ooh,
and
disagree.
Actually, I think number 1, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
honestly,
that's
kind of different from the other 2, but that one always gets me in the Halloween spirit.
I think Rob Zombie's Halloween is my favorite one. That is always what
I've seen House of a Thousand Corpses.
I have not.
Oh, really? It's Rob Zombie. It's pretty stupid, but in a really interesting way.
The first time I saw Rob Zombie's Halloween, it was 10 o'clock at night. I was at the City Diner right across from Powell Hall, and I was watching it from the bar. And there was something about it that was just like, it's a fall night, it's windy outside, the leaves are hitting me in the face when I walk, and there's something very weird and stylistic about it that just puts you in that playful horror mood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like ghosts and ghouls and all the like old horror tropes.
Yeah.
Something about like the early 2000s, late 90s, but it doesn't look so 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't...
Is the movie from the 90s?
I want to say early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's like watching... Remember the first Scooby-Doo film?
Ugh.
It's like that, but like ever so slightly creepier. But it has that vibe to it. Like,
you mean
about that
you're talking
era.
about the live action one, right?
Yeah, but there's something about that era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's called garbage.
Anybody else?
Oh, what was the movie with the owl and it's like the alien to visit?
Fourth Kind.
Fourth Kind. Oh,
that movie's trash, but really scary.
E.T.
Or just like some
Extraterrestrials.
Oh, that's a really good answer. No,
E.T.? What?
E.T.'s a good answer.
I guess
for
it does
Halloween.
take place around Halloween, but
not my thing.
it's a little too. Okay.
Can
we're
you
in the
go
dark
wave
now.
in front of that thing real quick?
I'll go do. I got it. Oh no, you got it.
I see some horror movies. Lights turn off.
I'll cut it.
Oh,
Yeah, don't cut that.
Whoa.
Don't cut
we did
that.
not rig this.
You know, I'm leaving that in.
E.T.'s a little too heartfelt to get me into the Halloween spirit. I need something that's just. I don't have to have that doesn't have an emotional core to it.
I feel like in a Halloween film, the good guys still have to win. Like at the end of Halloween.
I'm okay with Halloween movies being really cheesy.
Can you guys think of a movie where I guess a horror movie or a Halloween movie where the bad guy wins? I haven't seen Sinister.
It's really good. You'd really enjoy it.
You know, one that I watch around Halloween that's not necessarily even a Halloween movie, A Clockwork Orange.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's
screwed up.
It's
screwed up enough that it kind of has that.
I think you and me have different ideas of what gets me in the mood for Halloween.
Yeah, we do.
Like, it's not legitimate scares, but like
I'm okay
the
with
vibe.
Yeah, it's all about the vibe.
Like, it's about laying with your friends at night, like only lit by the TV, eating popcorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's something about it.
Okay, well, if you're talking like that, then the Conjuring is pretty. That's pretty timeless.
I think now that I've seen it a couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
But like on the first viewing, I was like, "Wow, this is legit freaky." But like fifth time around, not so much anymore.
Do you guys?
This is it.
What do you guys think? Like,
This is it. It was Halloween.
Look up Scary Godmother.
It was Halloween Town. Guess who was the witch grandmother?
Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds.
one horror movie from the past, let's go 3 years, that you think is going to go down as a huge classic. A huge classic. Yeah, I agree. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Get Out.
Is this one?
I'm not wrong in saying it's like also like a horror comedy movie too, right?
Oh, it's a horror com for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like Get Out.
And then I was like literally cheering for the dude to murder her.
Yeah.
But
On the TSA. We handled it.
It was either the first Halloween Town.
Was that Hannibal Buress, or am I racist?
I
don't know.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not racist for saying that.
Yeah.
Next thing, Pacific Rim Uprising trailer just came out.
Which
Did not see that.
What, talk about it?
Looks
Yeah,
pretty
talk
neat.
away. How do you feel about Pacific Rim Uprising?
I kind of feel. Well, like the main thing I didn't like about the first movie is much. He's okay. It's okay. So, anyways, first thing I didn't like about the first movie very much is like. I get.
I guess we're watching the trailer.
No. I'll just keep it on the background. You can keep talking.
Okay.
Just so.
So like the saying like each mech or each Jaeger was like there, and it had its modes. But I felt like the size
Yeah. This one's the.
this one's one of 3 arms.
There's three people controlling it. Oh no, it's not.
On that.
Between the monsters that destroyed our
This country
cities
designed this Jaeger.
and the monsters we created
Yeah.
Super.
to stop
it's like-
Especially in universe.
Yeah,
we
especially
thought we
like
had
it's like
sacrificed enough.
it's like
Power
But the
Rangers.
war we thought we
no,
finished
it's different.
Yeah.
Like,
is just beginning. And the only thing standing in front of the
It was so long
apocalypse
ago since the first one. I saw it.
is us.
It was good. It was.
But it doesn't matter where you came from,
It's not-
who believed in you and who didn't.
Hey, Charlie Day.
This is our time. This is our chance to make a difference.
It's always gonna be.
Now let's get it done. That's what I'm talking about.
It wasn't like something tied out.
They've evolved. I don't want to be wipe out all life. Y'all remember me. Y'all remember me. And my cause I wanna get it on.
Yeah, you can get the style.
Get it on till I die.
I think I could get used to this.
Cause I wanna get it on till I die.
There's something you need to see.
Very stylized. Well, where I was going with that was like Kill Bill. Most of that one movie for a while.
Fire everything you've got. Get it on till I die. Get it on till I die. Get it on till I die. Let's do it.
It's the self-awareness. That's what I'm getting at. It knows it's kind of dumb, and that's like
especially with
I don't wanna
Charlie
say
Day's
dumb.
character in the first one. Like that whole
Yeah.
thing.
So if there's a new director, my fear is he won't be able to nail that self-awareness.
Oh yeah, did you see this?
The amount of daytime shots worries me because the last
Yeah.
one happened at night and that very much helped the style. Because
Yeah.
it's very neon.
Yeah, that's true. What is
We're not
that?
talking about that.
the babysitter.
Is it a horror movie?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it
it's like a comedy horror. It's like a gore movie.
Is it like
Those are
stupid?
way too more.
Hey, what do you guys think about
Bella Thorne's in it.
Oh my god. I love Bella Thorne. She's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wait, hey, Happy Death Day? You guys seen the trailer?
Yeah,
so
I'll
dumb.
talk about that.
I don't know.
It looks really iffy.
I'm not sure.
I don't
I haven't seen
It might be like
It might be too cringy for me.
I don't know. It's from the guy who produced Get Out, but he also produced The Purge. So
That doesn't mean it. Well, it's the.
the producer though. Also, that's
What's the
another-
production company? Because they're making
I don't
like
know, you
the
wanna
best
look that
and
up really
also the
quick?
worst horror movies today.
right? And that's what.
Well, the director directed like one of the Conjuring sequel. I don't know.
No, he didn't because it's both
No.
James Wan.
Poltergeist. I don't remember. Let me check.
Oh, the Poltergeist remake. That was horrible.
It was god awful.
I said Paranormal Activity for a second. Those.
I like Paranormal Activity.
It's,
No, the
Fisher
first.
B. Landon.
Alright, the first and second one were good, except
Blumhouse
past that.
Productions.
It's Blumhouse
I
Productions.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's Jason Blum who. I
Hold on,
guess,
he can turn this towards me.
yeah, Jason Blum who was in charge of Paranormal Activity, The Purge, Insidious.
They made the best and the
Okay,
worst.
see,
film.
Get Out is
Yeah.
good, Insidious is good, Paranormal Activity is
And
good.
Sinister's amazing.
And how
Paranormal
does
Activity is
Sinister?
not
The
good.
Purge,
Liar.
I think we can all agree The Purge is trash.
But those are his best.
Well, you don't think Paranormal Activity
I
is
think that
good?
movie's awful.
This guy
Whoa.
I know the
directed.
first one.
Whoa.
The first one's good, but like since then
I
it
don't
gets
agree.
gradually like
It's-
more and more worse.
it-
Like saying like Paranormal Activity, you like the marked ones.
It really helped.
All?
Unfortunately, yes.
It really helped set that found footage
So
trend.
the guy
It
who
wasn't. It didn't
directed-
solely do it. That was the Blair Witch that started it.
Yeah,
but I
the
think
guy who
Paranormal
directed
They
Happy
mainstreamed
Death,
it, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate
Which
it.
wasn't a
that.
good thing.
the guy who
I like
directed
that.
Happy Death Day directed Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Which
What the heck is that?
That's like that was also like a gory comedy.
It
like,
sounds stupid.
Yeah, and then Paranormal Activity, the marked one.
Yeah,
I
That
don't know
sounds
which one
stupid.
of the sequels it is.
Okay, so
5.
so
4
happy
and 3.
so Happy Death Day is gonna suck.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, that sucks. I thought it was an
It's a
interesting.
fair
It was a
assumption.
fairly interesting concept.
It was an interesting.
He's able to
concept.
produce horror films on a decent budget.
I mean,
which is-
Jessica Roth isn't a bad actor.
What's she in?
She's I can't remember. I think she was also in Scout's Guide or whatever.
What the heck? Oh, La La Land.
She was
Dang.
somewhere in La La Land. Apparently.
I still haven't seen La La
She's an
Land.
extra.
I'm
Yeah,
behind.
probably.
An extra.
She walked down the street for a bit.
Hot flashes.
I still haven't
Yeah,
seen
so
one.
this is
She
going to be
didn't
trash.
She didn't seem too bad in the trailer. She seemed kind of like sarcastic and snarky, which was cool.
It looks. It's going to be stupid.
Sarcastic woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
And then
I do.
Justice League, like that's coming out
God, I don't
next
care.
month.
If it's good, I'll be thrilled. If
I
it's
don't-
bad, I won't care.
I don't like
Was
the way
there-
it's looking.
Just
Yeah, I don't trust
I
DC.
just like the way it's looking in general too. Like seeing like Cyborg's like design, Cyborg and Aquaman. They're trying to go for like Cyborg's like kind of more.
Edgy.
Aquaman
is so
Aquaman, if I'm not mistaken, that's also Khal Drogo's actor from Game
Yeah,
of Thrones. correct?
Jason
Oh,
Momoa.
seriously?
Yeah,
Jason Momoa.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
He got big.
That's
He's
weird.
very large.
It's saying it's not like classic Aquaman of like.
No, it's the
like,
edgy
yeah.
Aquaman. Apparently,
Yeah,
honestly,
Khal
like,
Drogo is such a horrible.
I could not care less what they look like, especially because they need to fit in the universe, which is very.
Can you pull
dark,
up a picture
so
really quick?
whatever.
Well,
Like I think their design is actually very strong. To be fair, in the universe, just
like-
because it's not classic doesn't mean I need to shut it down.
Wait, it's a Barry Allen Flash, right? Or what Flash is
Barry-
It's
it?
Barry Allen, but he acts
Barry
like
Allen.
Wally West.
Okay.
I
which
just
is
don't.
Annoying.
I don't trust
Yeah, but
DC, which is a shame because I prefer them to Marvel.
After Suicide, yeah, like seeing. No, like the old shows like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I love those shows. It's saying like I just don't see the same thing here.
But it also will never work.
Oh, what
like
the
that.
heck? Why does Aquaman look like that?
I know.
He looks just like Khal
like Paul
Drogo.
Rocky,
He just looks
yeah.
like Khal Drogo, just like a
Oh my,
mermaid.
no,
It's
the,
the
first of all,
long
that
hair.
literally it looks like the Aquaman costume that doesn't have brighter colors. Like it's more a muted Aquaman costume.
They're over-
because his
dude,
facial hair and
talk
like
over
his
each other.
adventure. Okay, sorry.
They're
He has
overcompensating
a
because
beard in the comics right now.
I know he's bearded.
they're They know it's a meme that Aquaman is lame, and they're just trying to overcompensate. I see that. I see them. I see them.
Oh my
Cyborg's
God.
also.
You guys are way too like okay. If you're gonna be critical of the film, like that's fine. But like the character design is not something.
I'm just
I
screwing
do
around.
really
I'm
enjoy
kidding.
this. The visuals are like very like on point.
I don't-
It's fine. I don't really mind it. Honestly.
They're muted and they're real.
The problem is for me with the trailers, it's just doing the same thing that Batman v Superman. And it looks so fragmented.
Except it doesn't. It's
There's just
Josh
too
Whedon
much-
directed the last half of it,
Yeah, well, like he did the post production stuff apparently.
and he reshot a
Green Lantern's this one.
Yeah,
Well, Wonder Woman was good, so maybe this will be good.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Wonder Woman was a really good film, and they needed that to keep it alive.
I'm not liking it.
Do you think
the way it's
these guys are
looking.
gonna get solos?
So saying like.
No.
He is. Flash is getting a
Oh, yeah, he
solo,
is,
and I
he is.
believe
Aquaman.
Aquaman is also getting a solo.
I don't think we'll ever see Cyborg
And
solo.
I don't know. Was Batman solo movie still going to be?
Well, there's talks of a Teen Titans movie if
Oh,
they do well.
Well, I thought those were going to be Teen Titans live action show scheduled for next year.
I didn't hear that.
I forgot where I seen that.
Thor Ragnarok looks awesome.
Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. I love the trailers and the vibe, the colors, the visual, everything about this movie. I'm really digging it right now.
Oh wait, I don't know if I care though.
Do you think it's going to be?
I don't care.
I know. I've gone onto like I've also been kind of like superhero movie fatigue at this point.
Yeah.
As well. I wasn't as excited to see Spider-Man, which is like surprising for me because I really love Spider-Man, but I didn't really.
Spider-Man actually like
Care
helped me with
anymore.
my fatigue, to be completely
Yeah.
honest. Like I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I want to see where this universe goes now. That's really interesting. Now
but-
they've mucked up the tie line though, and that's bad.
But I like how Thor's looking, but I don't know if I'll like the movie because it's looking too much like.
Well, it's
like
World War
Guardians-
Hulk, so I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, but it's looking too much like like they're going for that comedy.
Yeah,
slash,
Guardians of the
like,
Galaxy
Guardians
almost.
of the Galaxy
Ah,
route.
yeah.
And that was the problem with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was that they went.
The fact that you didn't like
Too
that
heavy
movie makes
with
me
the
so
joke.
sad.
Volume
I
2,
like-
I liked.
I liked
I think
it,
it's
but
better than the
not
first
that
one.
much.
Listen,
I think it's much better than
I
the
liked
first one.
Volume 2.
I think I like Volume 1 better, except like the thing I found with like Volume 2 is that saying like it like relied too much on comedy. I kind of wish there was like more like there's
all
the
the
character
jokes
development
in it.
was there, except I think it set a tone that like other Marvel movies are now going to try to follow, especially Thor Ragnarok.
So you don't have a problem with the movie, you have a problem with what it did.
Yeah, of like what it did at the universe and stuff. So I hopefully Thor Ragnarok will become like a Thor movie and not just Guardians of the
Well,
Galaxy.
first of all, it's a World War Hulk movie, but they don't have the rights to a solo Hulk though, so it's under the Thor brand. That's what it is. That's the.
I didn't realize.
So you're saying that World War Hulk's going to play off Guardians of the Galaxy?
I feel like that's part
No, I'm
of
going to
it.
say World War Hulk is going to be done with this style that they've created because they're going to be in outer space. So it has to be neon and glowy because that's what we've seen so far.
It's
No, I was talking
part
about
of
the
that.
more of the comedic aspects and things like that.
No, we've seen nothing to show it could be comedic.
Did you
What?
guys?
What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Whoa,
Nothing
whoa,
to show
sure,
that comedic.
yeah.
The entire trailer, like
Not
the
over
first
any other
movie
Marvel
was that.
film.
What do you
I
mean?
thought it was.
Just because they first of all, Marvel movies throw
I've-
all their comedy scenes into the trailers. That's happened for a long time.
Apparently, I've read like some reviews on Twitter, and they're like the whole like the main aspect that all the reviewers keep commenting on is because of how funny it was. And there was interviews with Chris Hemsworth explaining how their director was like, "Hey, we want to take." And I respect this, and I really like it. They want to take Thor in like a completely different direction. They don't want him to be like the regular old Thor from like the first two movies because that was kind of boring. And he was saying that a lot of the times they went into film a scene with like a loose script, but a lot of it was improvised, and it was very jokey.
So I think the problem we're seeing with this at this point is that you guys think it's going to be Guardians-esque when it's a whole new director in a universe that has a whole lot of room to expand, and assuming it's going to be Guardians-esque is going to make you guys disappointed in this film. You need to go into it with open mind.
I'm just not excited in the first place, to be honest.
I'm not
Oh no, there is the
excited.
complacency of it. But
Yeah, especially, what's the new villain's name?
Hella.
hello,
Huh.
she's really awesome.
She looks awesome. Yeah, Kate Blanchett. Wow. Nice job with that head crown.
You know the last movie I saw?
With Kate Blanchett.
Flatliners.
Oh, you saw Flatliners?
Horrible.
How was the remake? Really?
Awful.
What did they do so bad compared to the first one?
I haven't seen the first one, but I know.
Right?
I've never I've never seen the first one, but this movie was just dumb.
I'm kind of glad to watch
Just
Kingsman over Flatliners.
Stupid.
then.
You should be glad. That's what I should have seen. Flatliners was
We about ready?
I'm going to go through a roll call, guys. Let's...
And then we get to lose Austin.
Oh yeah, I've
yeah,
never seen
'cause,
Blade Runner.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Blade Runner and Austin's... We're going to be talking spoilers, so... Yeah, but whatever, it's fine.
Well, what
So
are we
this
doing
week-
right now?
Huh?
What's this?
I'm just going through like movies that are coming out this week. So this week we got The Foreigner with Jackie Chan. Heck yeah.
Cool.
He's going to be like in a serious action role, whatever.
I
It's
won't
not,
see it.
I'm probably not going to see it either. Happy Death Day is coming out this
Don't
weekend.
care.
Yeah, I wanted to see it, but then I.
It's like
No,
a
no,
Groundhog
I'm not.
Day.
Forget you, Christopher Landon. I hate you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
All
it
right.
anymore.
And then next, Goodbye Christopher Robin, which is about like the story behind the creation of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh,
and that whole thing.
wait, I've never. Let me see that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's with Margot
Is it
Robbie
a-
and I think
So
she's
it's like a
producing it.
biopic then.
Kind of, yeah. And it's not really like the nice story that you expect it to be. It's actually more of about how this poor child's life got ruined because he got so famous because of the books.
That's cool. So it's kind of like Saving Mr. Banks. Did you guys see that?
Oh, you
It's
saw
like a-
that, didn't you? What do you?
I hate you, Christopher Landon.
Okay.
Did you
Alex.
see Saving Mr. Banks?
No.
Oh, sounds
thought
kind of
you
like
did.
that. It's about the creation of.
No.
It's about the creation of Mary Poppins, and
Oh,
it's got Walt
yeah.
Disney in it, played by Tom Hanks, and it's
Yeah.
it's like a grittier. Gritty's not the right
I'm
word.
interested to see how this turns out.
Grounded, perhaps.
Grounded. Yeah.
And then another one, Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman.
Don't care.
Yeah. Don't
It's
care.
about like I guess the man who
a
created
drama
Wonder
film.
Woman. Yeah, and it like I guess it's like sort of like the sexism at the time and
Next.
that whole thing. Am I right? Am I right in assuming?
I don't know,
really.
man.
You have the description in front
If
of
you're
you.
into it, you're into it. Honestly, I think it looks fine.
Breathe. Drama.
Breathe.
Biography pick.
Yeah, with
Next.
it's actually directed by Andy Serkis.
Metascore 48.
I don't.
That says something.
And it's also Andrew Garfield's in it. It's about the guy who made the wheelchair. I guess he got like polio or something.
Yeah,
and
not
then
What's all these
Interested.
makes
biopics?
a wheelchair.
Yeah, I was
there's
thinking
a lot
that, too.
happening this weekend.
Next. It.
No, that was
Yeah.
I
it.
can't wait to see it.
So good.
Right?
Coming soon to theaters near you.
the Snowman, which is not looking good, honestly.
Metascore 30.
Yeah, that's Michael Fassbender in like
Yeah.
some sort of like
That looked dumb.
crime.
I am more likely to see that than the other ones.
Hey, when I first saw like
you
the
know
trailer,
this one's gonna be good.
I was hoping it was an actual
Storm.
killer snowman.
I can't tell that. Like, what kind of like genres of movies?
It's a disaster.
Guys,
movie.
stop. Tyler Perry's Boo 2, A Medea Halloween.
Oh,
Likely to see 100%.
Oh, also, Only the Brave.
Yeah.
Which Brave? That's actually looking pretty.
It
good.
does look pretty good. It's like the underdog
I
type of
wasn't done
story.
talking about Medea.
I'm sorry to cut you
hey,
off.
can we dedicate a whole episode to Medea?
I would not care.
Can we
I'm
have a
not going to be part of that then.
Maybe a live com.
Can we have a
Of the first one. of Boo.
We'll think about it. Next.
Only the Brave is based on the true story of the Granite Mountain Hotshots.
I saw the trailer for that. It looks very. It looks like a.
I kind of like. It's like an underdog story.
It just looked like a sausage fest, like something that some
like
dads will go see.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Metascore 77.
Why are you reading out the Metascores?
That's a Metascore.
Hey, whoa.
None of those are important. I don't really care.
Suburbicon was.
Yep, do not care about movies.
I think that's pretty much all to look forward to.
Thor Ragnarok.
That's coming in the next couple weeks. I think that's November.
Metascore not listed.
Roman?
Yeah. So, we're going to talk about Blade Runner 2049.
I'm out.
Bye, Austin.
I'm going to ask all the questions because you guys were much more awake seeing this film. I fell asleep halfway through.
Did you really?
What?
I knew
I
it.
saw it at 10.
Did you wake up again, or did you fall asleep for the rest of it?
Well, I mean, I could have probably fallen asleep and woken up at 6 and the
And I
movie
don't
would have
blame
still
you.
been running.
I don't blame you, honestly. I really don't blame
No,
you.
I really enjoyed the parts I saw.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to comment on much of the story.
All right, let's talk about the story first.
Yeah, this is going to be you two.
Okay, so do you want to start, or do you want me to?
You go for it. I have a lot to say.
How do you feel about the story, Charlie?
So the story itself would seem like the set piece of the story, like behind like the entire universe, is like one of the probably.
You're fine.
Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
Yeah.
That's right.
So arguably, like one of the more like best pieces I've seen in cinema like recently. Just seeing like this, like the design, like the buildings itself, as well as like the atmosphere, and seeing like everything on Earth's like gone to this point of like no recovery, but people are still going about it, and this is like.
Yeah, come in. What is it? Hi, Greg, editor-in-chief.
Hey, Greg.
Oh, can I jump into this?
Have you seen Blade Runner?
Have you seen Blade Runner?
Not.
Do you care?
Jump in anyway.
What? No, we kicked out Lost.
Do you care if you hear
You can ask
spoilers?
questions.
Here, close the
I'm
door.
not going to watch it.
Yeah, you're probably. Yeah, you're not gonna watch it. It's not the movie for you.
And welcome to the podcast. Greg Smirnowski.
Greg Smirnowski making your first
Editor-in-chief.
appearance on the podcast.
Hi guys, it's great to be
This
here.
is my boss.
Editor-in-chief. This is our boss.
Yeah.
Screw you.
I don't think of him like that though.
He thinks of
You're
me
his
as
friend.
he thinks of me as
What are you doing
cool.
in here?
friend.
Why'd you come in here? Did you actually have to tell us
I
something?
actually had to ask a question
What?
about the layout,
Oh.
but that's fine.
There
Anyway, I love Harrison Ford.
you go.
I think he's an incredible actor. He's made a lot of good movies.
I thought you were going to say
Alright,
counter-terrorist.
All right, I'll step in for a second. You can keep talking about Blade Runner.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yes.
2077.
49.
Yes.
2047. Charlie, how did you feel about Blade Runner 2047?
2047, 2049, which one are we going with here?
Pick.
Okay, let's go with 2049, because that's
Yeah.
what actually happened. So, okay, so anyways, I was seeing about like set pieces and things like that. It's honestly one of the best things I've seen in like cinema, like at least like recently. It's seeing there's not like much other sci-fi movies that can work the same way a Blade Runner can, and that's the part I really appreciate about it.
Yeah.
It's saying like how it's obviously dystopian, but also like the main character is given a task and gone to like places like no one has ever been before, like actually.
Absolutely.
Like,
I do
type
that.
of thing.
So, like, as far as visuals,
I would say like most of the scenes, like I would say like the majority of the movie plays like a dark, like almost like gray, like gradient, like almost like every single scene. There isn't like much. That's through a concrete wall. I wonder how that happened.
there was a large bump on the wall and it startled me greatly. I'm sorry, that was really scary.
What?
There was a big bump on the wall.
Yeah, there's like a thump like right there.
Scared the fudge out of you, bro.
No.
Was it like, I guess someone was in the bathroom?
I don't know, but they're having a hard time because.
What do you guys go to? What are you doing?
I just
I don't
hit your,
know,
I
but
hit your
Kelly's-
most visited pages. That was it.
Some of us
There's
blushed at
just
the
pages
school.
that I just went to like just now. Anyway.
We're talking about visuals now.
Oh, wait, I have a lot to say about the story.
Can I just
I
remember?
might jump out for this one because I literally slept through most of the film.
No, it's okay. You can ask us questions.
Do you want to jump out?
Like any
I
specific
don't care.
question.
I have stuff to do, but if you guys want me in here,
Oh,
No,
well,
you be in here. Come on.
Okay.
Like if you want to leave, then just leave. Though.
No, Alex, stay. You're staying.
No. I'm in a good way.
Charlie said I'm staying.
Okay.
Guess I'm staying.
Why are you going to leave? What are you doing in Austin?
No.
Anyway.
Well, Austin didn't see the movie. But...
Oh well.
Alright,
Yeah,
so
I really Yeah, it's a super slow movie, but it's very artful. Like, you don't see a lot of movies like this anymore. And I'm glad, like, the production company put that much money into it, but it's definitely not going well for it. Huh?
We should all scoot right.
Okay, let's do it right.
But keep talking. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought the story was good. And I like the revelations that came up, and it's like, it plays with the themes from the first one.
I'm locked in my position.
Yeah, so how do you guys think it relates to the last one? How does it compare?
Like, the themes are all there. Like, it really fits, like, the themes of identity and, like, what makes someone human. Is it the sum of their, like, organs? Like, because if it is, then what about all the people that, like, all the replicants that have sentience? Like, then they're not human? Or, like, does it meaning like being human? Is it having a natural birth or being part of a process? Or does being human mean just having a chemical reaction in your brain to stuff that happens around you? You know, stuff like that. So it
explores those ideas.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I love that kind of thing. But it's something that has been talked about since that movie. Like, Westworld kind of plays with that idea of a little bit. I guess iRobot. I don't know. I guess those robot movies kind of play with it. Yeah. Was that it?
No, it was like directly like
right
there.
Oh, it must have been in Janitor.
I don't trust janitors. Actually, I have a lot of respect.
My
for
problem, I really did enjoy the movie. I stayed up the entire time. Like, I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, no, I didn't fall asleep.
Sorry, I'm a loser.
Are you gonna talk to this mic or that mic?
Both.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, it's stereo.
So, my problem with the movie was, if they had, like, there's a lot of scenes in it that are really quite beautiful, but if they had made the revelations of like the things that he finds out as he's going along on this hunt to find the child, if he had made those smaller and the movie shorter, I think it would have been a much better movie, at least commercially. Yeah, that's what I have to say. The themes in it I think are pretty cool. Like, Joy. What did you think of Joy, by the way? Because she's in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? I thought it was really interesting.
I thought it was interesting too, like how he was able to connect.
You're fine. Go ahead. If you got something, no, I'm serious. If
you just guilt trip Charlie.
So, anyways, and it's like I felt like interesting. Joy saying like she's obviously a piece of she's like obviously like electronics and things like that. Saying like she's not there, but she's treated the same way as being there. And I think like in the main movie, the character like kind of sees her as like a way like the average person would see like technology like being like almost like a crutch in like everyday life, because like him walking up to the apartment and like those scenes and like everything's a mess around him.
I love that contrast. You see him walking outside in that gross, dirty, like raining like cityscape, and then like people yelling at him, you filthy skin job, and he goes inside in his home and it's like the nice jazz music.
Skin job makes me uncomfortable as a phrase.
Yeah,
I think it's supposed to.
It's a slur. It's
but it's really gross.
Didn't you say like skin crawler too?
It's a slur for replicants. It's the same thing that they had in the first one.
Yeah, it's just gross. I was talking about that. Like, in the original cut, well, not the original because there's a bunch of cuts, but the one with Harrison Ford's inner monologue, he's talking about the police chief, and he calls replicant skin jobs, right? And he says the same kind of guy who back in the day what I called black people, and then just straight up dropped the N-word. And like I think that it's a little bit less off the cuff in that one. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, that's why I don't remember which version I watched of the original Blade
Not
Runner,
that one, because
but
it's
definitely
super
not
unpopular.
that one. Yeah, I watched
unpopular.
either the final or director's cut. And I thought it was interesting, but I didn't really like the first one. I thought it was kind of slow. But that's why I went into Blade Runner 2049 like kind of expecting that. I had my expectations kind of low.
Yeah. So I was impressed by the movie itself. Of like, and saying like speaking of like the electronics and things like that, and saying the characters, I think they made a really good job with saying like replicants, and it's like throughout the movie. Wait, are we talking about spoilers here or no spoilers?
Yeah. Spoilers.
Well, let's do it at the end. So let's get everything out of the way, and then we'll talk spoilers for like 10 minutes.
Well, I've already. It's fine.
How much have you spoiled?
I mentioned Joy.
That's not a spoiler.
Is that the beginning of the film?
Yeah, but like I don't know. I thought it was a cool surprise for me because I didn't know she was not a human.
I don't even remember what they were talking about.
I'll come back to you.
We'll do spoilers at the end.
Okay. So what I'm going to say for now is saying like throughout the movie there's a replicant, and character, or there's a character that was a replicant, except later identified as something else after a revelation. And I thought like that was like one of the more surprising things, and saying how the character acted throughout the movie, he like himself, and like in regards to like
who you're talking about, but yeah, keep going.
You'll be able to explain this.
Yeah, you'll explain in the spoilers.
I may be wrong, but like the way he was acting throughout the movie, believing in his nature that everyone told him he was, rather than his actual nature, and that shift from character, I think there's like the display of emotions itself is like one of the things that was extraordinary.
Absolutely.
Oh, and the visuals, man. The like just the cinematography in this movie.
It was beautiful.
Is so beautiful. Like the
What
colors and like just the everything that's like all the shots are just like could be standalone images and like it's amazing. There's
really no way to put it except like if you shot one of those crazy 80s, it's like Tron Legacy in a lot of ways because like those things kind of came to life with modern CG. By the way, a Tron movie today would do very well. Thinking about now what this is like, if you threw Tron today with somebody with a decent budget and a good director, I think it'd do phenomenally. Yeah, and a good soundtrack, which is also important.
Tron Legacy is still one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's amazing, and it has a lot of comparisons to this. Obviously, it's old school sci-fi.
Yeah, and I don't know, this movie is not so much of a noir as the first one was, which I was totally fine with, because the setting was cool, and they showed a lot more of the world, which I thought was really awesome. I'll explain like one of my favorite scenes because I don't want to spoil it. Like just
2077.
Yeah,
that's the setting.
And also, if you want to like, if you're super into this and you haven't seen Blade Runner 2049, there was 3 shorts that were put on YouTube. The director Denis Villeneuve, is that how you say his name? Anyway, he had 3 other people make short films that kind of like show like some of the characters that you see in Blade Runner 2049, like that take place before 2049 and in between the first one and the second one, which I think is cool.
Wait, would he be? Are you referring to Blackout in those, or are you saying there's other shorts as well? Because I've watched Blade Runner.
Only 3. There's 3. There's an animated one. There's 2 live action ones.
Okay, and so
one features. I'm not gonna say who it features, but yeah, like they feature characters in them.
It's Japanese style anime too. I thought.
There's one that was animated. Yeah, I thought it was very beautiful.
Yeah,
and also the same people.
Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying, I've watched Blackout, and to watch Blackout before watching 2049, I really helped like throughout several points of the movie because they make references. It's like the event itself,
which is cool, right? Like, it fills out the universe, and it doesn't feel like a tacked on like, hey, here you go. That's why I really like Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite movies because there's so much lore around it, which they mention. And there's like
makes sense in the universe.
Yeah, it makes sense in the universe, but even if that's not clearly apparent in the movie, because it doesn't need that. It just needs it as sort of like a contextual thing for the world.
I think the cool thing about that is like there's a very big story here, and it's all, and the events are happening in a very large scale, but you're following a very small person.
Exactly.
And I think that's Tolkien does it on purpose, obviously, and it's the genius of Lord of the Rings.
That's part of the theme as well. It's a similar theme in Blade Runner 2049 as well. Yeah. The music. What do you think of the music?
Oh, the music? Well, I was saying like music or just like the sound effects. I like a lot more.
We'll say sound design.
It's a soundtrack.
So sound design in general, just seeing that like low like drumming noise, and it increasingly in the game like higher and higher of like the ships and things like that going around.
There's also that like that revving noise. It was like. Oh yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, during one of the early scenes in the movie, they kept on like repeating it like over and over, just as people were doing like. As like the character is like progressing the plot,
and it's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, it's like it's unsettling. It's almost like it's trying to tell you something, like be on your guard, or about the world itself.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. So I think we can dig into spoilers now.
We should talk about box office first.
Oh, true.
And how it has not done well.
So yeah, I wanted to mention this because I don't know. I feel like it's something that
it's kind of a shame.
Important. Yeah.
Because it's a very good film.
Well, I think.
Right now,
it'll be a cult classic without a doubt. But
just like the first one.
Yeah.
Let me look up the numbers, but yeah, you can explain it.
Yeah. It's not doing well, and that's partially due to the marketing campaign. It's also partially due to the fact that it's really hard to market a sci-fi film like this because it's definitely old school hard sci-fi. And it's tough because not many people want to go see that anymore. It's a very much a dead genre. In the sense that like old school sci-fi isn't done the way it used to be, so overseas box offices were really good apparently, but American box office was really awful, and that's where you're making most of your money. Charlie?
Yeah, I think it's more of a niche thing too. Seeing like what you're saying, like old school sci-fi, that like you're going into the movie like expecting Blade Runner, and I'm not expecting like other sci-fi movies we see nowadays. Seeing like the dystopian aspect, like how it's displayed, again, I think that may be turning off the majority of the people who are expecting to watch this movie. And like they're just going in thinking something differently, or thinking they're going to see something differently, and what they get, it's not what they wanted.
So the budget for the film was $150 million, which they have not made back yet, and they will not make anything close to, especially considering the marketing campaign.
And at the moment, as of recording this, they are at 81.9 million.
And it will not get too much higher. They'll probably break 100 million.
Yeah, which is that's like that's the thing, because movies are business and art combined. Like, that's just how it is. There's no denying.
That's why a company like Blumhouse can keep making this many films, is because they're super lucrative.
That's how M. Night Shyamalan can keep making movies, because everybody agrees that his movies are trash. But like a lot of the new ones, right? Like you know what I'm talking about, like The Happening and stuff like that.
I don't like the old ones either.
But he consistently makes a ton of money for the production, the
because
production company.
They're
and for
vaguely
himself.
horror. Horror is the most lucrative percentage-wise genre out there. Mm-hmm. Just speaking strictly by how much you're making back versus how much you're putting in. You know, you'll make 100 times what you threw into this film,
which is a shame. I don't know.
Yeah,
and that's why if the movie wasn't so long and like very drawn out, I think it would have done better commercially. Which is, I really wish Denis Villeneuve would have done 2 cuts of this movie, like one for the theatrical version that was much cleaner and shorter. Maybe got rid of the more artistic bits, because that's just not going to make them the money. Mm-hmm. And I don't want his like reputation to go down the drain, because Denis,
it won't.
He directed Arrival, he directed Sicario, some like amazing stuff. He's very capable.
He's got a big enough repertoire.
Okay, saying like
the production company, I don't know who it was. It was like starts with an A. But they put so much money into it.
Yeah. They also didn't exactly expect it to make money immediately. You know what I mean? Like Blade Runner will be profitable one day, just not now. You know what I mean? Like, this is now a cult classic. Someone will go back and talk about this on a podcast in 20 years. You know what I mean? Much like we went and saw the old Blade Runner. Like, it'll still make them money.
But Alcon Entertainment, they also
they're a multi-billion-dollar.
I know,
they're fine.
They put a ton of money into this. They gave him a lot of money to do what he wanted to do. I really, really wish he had done like 2 versions of this movie.
It would have been good.
How much could
one for the theater, and then one that you can get like that's this, like the full.
It's a lot more time in the editing room, and it's hard, but yeah.
So like, how much could you have so saying like, if there's gonna be like a clean cut like theater version, how much runtime do you think they could cut out?
40 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes. Saying under. So we're probably going like around or like a little less than the 2 hour mark here. Or?
I promise they could. Yeah, because there's a lot of just long city shots, man. If you cut those down to like a couple second transitions, Jesus, that's probably 10 minutes off your film. You know what I mean? And that's not even cutting out big plot points. You know what I mean?
You have the commercial version, you have the more artistic version.
But I think
lots of movies have that. Like Watchmen did it.
Watchmen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the director's cut of Watchmen is phenomenal. And the one in theater, well, okay, I take that back. It's good. The one that came to theaters is god-awful.
Because the movie Blade Runner has a lot of like establishing shots, like, hey, this is what the city is like, and I appreciate that. But there's also, because all this, like, a lot of the scenes are very drawn out, and sometimes I can't remember because it's so long, the movie, if there's a lot of scenes where they weren't needed, because a lot of the scenes were in there just for this small bit to like put it there. I don't know.
There was. Yeah. There are scenes that can be gone because of the nature of the sci-fi genre.
Yeah. But that's what good sci-fi in my mind is not about aliens or androids or other. It's about humanity. It's about humanity. Yeah. It's always like you use these otherworldly, futuristic stuff as a reflection, as a mirror to look back on humanity.
The Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
that's a great example of that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And welcome back to the Bargate Movie Messenger podcast. So Mahiko interrupted us. That's okay though.
Was part of B you just mentioned right before you said?
We are going to do my favorite thing. All right, guys, here it is. Mm-hmm. Your favorite movie directed by Ridley Scott.
Oh.
Should I go first?
Yes, answer.
Alien.
I've not
First
seen
Alien?
a lot.
Alien.
I haven't seen a lot by him, so I'm just gonna give you the basic answer.
You just Googled Ridley Scott. How about you?
Let me make sure.
Prometheus.
Okay. Is it because I took Alien,
No.
or because you like Prometheus?
I like Prometheus and I like Alien.
Do you not like Gladiator?
Same choice.
Do you know who directed Gladiator?
Who? Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you like Gladiator?
I like Gladiator.
We did
Yeah.
actually discuss.
How about Hannibal? Do you know he did Hannibal? Because I really like Hannibal.
I haven't seen
Whatever
Hannibal
you
yet.
want, man.
He did The Grey.
Ridley Scott also did The Grey, really?
Yeah, man. The Grey was awesome.
No, I really enjoyed The Grey.
I know, because I saw it with you.
The Martian.
He did The Martian.
Martian.
Yeah, The Martian. That's my answer.
Man, that's some really
You
good.
didn't even know he directed The Martian.
I know he did. That's why I was saying it would be the most basic answer because
know who
it's
else
not
he-
like any
you know
of the
what else
other
he directed,
movies
Charlie?
he's done.
What?
Blade Runner.
What? That's crazy.
I feel like he kind of got up his own butt about how good the first, or like how influential the first
up.
Blade Runner was, and that's why this movie was.
Ridley
kinda
Scott's a god. You guys want to talk about spoilers?
Spoiler talk?
Yeah.
Spoilers
So
from here on out.
thank you.
Spoiler warning!
Indeed,
Thank you
spoilers.
for watching. If you watched all the way until this point,
That was
There's
it.
a bump.
That's the noise.
that was it. Thank you for watching. If you'd watch up until this point, and you don't want to see any spoilers. Thank you so much.
I just want
for
to point
seeing
out
this.
the lights flickered and there's been bumping on the wall. If we're not at school Friday, I guess this podcast won't go up unless it is like a super editor. So yeah, if we're dead, we're dead. It's gonna happen.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
life, yeah.
So thanks for watching. If you're leaving now, and if you don't care about spoilers, then
Stick around.
let's dive right in.
dive on in.
This is the spoiler section, so that's why Alex is gone. And I guess we could have kept Austin around, but he's kind of busy.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay.
Wait,
Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to say about the movie. I think I kind of like that. How the two main, like the two prominent females in the movie, Joy and Love, are named Joy and Love. I think it's pretty cool because Joy is a really interesting character. I didn't expect her to be as big of a character as she was, and from the trailer I thought she was like an actual person, but she's like a hologram girlfriend, which I thought was really interesting. And that's something I never thought about before.
Yeah, it's saying like, how did that technology work itself? I never understood. Like, so you
Well,
brought like
it's
the
similar to,
emulator, and she's like on the stick, but she's able to like go outside.
Well, first she was on like that thing that was like set up in the house. She was like, she couldn't move further than that, and she's sort of like an AI, right?
Yeah,
because she can kind of like learn and react to.
I think like she showed like emotions of affection. I get those like built in, but like she like developed like upon those.
But the theme and idea of her I thought was super interesting because it's like she's like, her name is Joy, like everything you want to hear, because Kay sees Joy as somebody that makes him feel special, everything that he wants to hear, everything that he wants to see.
Yeah,
so he sees Joy as someone that he can hear and see, but he can't touch. Like he can't interact with necessarily. And I thought that was so cool because it's just like a bunch of broken people that aren't like really, they all have kind of like, they're not quite real in a sense, because even that girl who helps him out in that in that sweet love scene, she's also a replicant, which is revealed later. So it's really interesting. And then in the end, Joy is killed by Love, which I think is really like, just that like Joy is killed by Love. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, and also like the thing I like about Joy too is saying like how she gave the main character. Who was main character for us that the maybe before Joe? Just the officer designation, or
what? Oh, well, like I mean, she gives him the name. Oh, even that.
Yeah,
it's
give him the name of Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, because he like he sees her as someone that makes him feel special. Like he's always he wanted to feel special and important. And that's why like the whole movie he thinks that he's the child.
Yeah.
And that like he comes back to the city and he just sees that big Joy, like, and it's like she doesn't remember him, and it's because it's like a mass-produced AI.
Well, yeah, it's like a different version. Like everything's like, it's like blue hair, it's like synthetic.
Exactly, but in the end, Joy is not. She doesn't care about him. He's not special, and that's why I think that was cool that she called him Joe, like average Joe, you know.
Yeah, I'm saying
But yeah, he's K whatever.
Yeah, K. Hey, whatever.
Officer K.
Yeah, except when Harrison Ford too in like the desert city, he was like, yeah, names like I'm Officer, and he started rattling on. Is like, I mean, real name, and he was like, Joe.
And that sticks to Harrison Ford's character because even though he was a Blade Runner, he still felt empathy towards replicants.
Yeah, like he even had like his own dog and things like that. Which one thing I found interesting is saying like when you ask like, is the dog like actually real? It's like, why didn't you ask him himself? And one scene, Joe like reaches out his hand, but like kind of pulls away, and the dog walks away too. So you never. That's one thing we never really know about both the dog and Deckard himself. Saying like, will that actually are they both replicants? And saying there's one thing that's so like left like up to discussion.
Yeah,
I think it should be. I think it draws on too, saying like, what's like the actual like meaning of like purposeful life and things like that. It's just saying like, if the dog wasn't real, then what's the point of having it around?
Mm-hmm.
The point of having it around is the same reason why Joe has joy.
Yeah, exactly.
Constantly. Yeah,
that's really cool. And that kind of also speaks to like what makes you human, like what makes you someone, like what makes you what you are, you know? Because if that dog wasn't real, it still had the same purpose and feeling to Deckard as it did if it was real. You know, I thought that was cool. And Love, I thought was a really interesting character because she's like, love is beautiful, but deadly and dangerous, you know?
Yeah, saying like...
And so, like, in the end, I thought that scene, like, the rain scene was just so, like, so...
Oh, you wanted, like, right
so
outside
gritty,
the dam
and it's just, like, I could feel, like, you could feel the impact and, like, the grit and the struggle, like, just the raw struggle between Kay and Love. And he had to literally drown Love to save Deckard...
Yeah.
To save Deckard's love. Huh?
Yeah, because like at first you're like, oh, who's going to suffocate first? One person underwater, one person's getting choked, and Deckard starts getting choked, and like now you have three people.
Like he's drunk. He's like
either one person's going to walk out, or two people are going to walk out, but you don't know who.
I thought that was a really cool scene.
Yeah,
like that whole like in the water and just the only light is that car. I thought that was so cool.
I was like kind of like the scenes too, or saying like the desert city itself, saying when he goes investigate
that's Las Vegas, right? Am I?
No, Las Vegas was.
Am I not correct?
No, Las Vegas was where the pyramids were in the main city. Saying that's
Los Angeles.
That's
LA.
The other parts of
the
Las
movie
Vegas.
takes place in LA, like the first
I got the two. I got the two views, but yeah,
I think it's Las Vegas.
Yeah, but one thing I found kind of weird is seeing like he's in the desert. He's like walking down between like two statues, almost like they're about to kiss, and he found like the place like the bees just like sitting out like, there, and then
because you've seen it before, like he finds the horse and the horse toy, and it's made, and he's like, yeah, that's real wood, and it's like. That's true. These guys have never really seen like real nature before. So that's why that scene where like you see what's her name? What's that girl's name?
Which one?
The girl in the room with the girl who creates the memories.
Girl creates her.
I forget her name.
You can probably look up the character.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like they mentioned her name like
the real child, basically.
Yeah, the real child.
And I want to mention that too. But yeah, it's like it's so jarring because you're like, whoa, trees and leaves. That's not Blade Runner. One thing I found though, seeing like when he was like walking desert and there's all the bees and things like that, and he sticks. Yeah, so he's never seen life like that before.
Except like what I found kind of interesting about that, seeing if you remember the original Blade Runner, like as they're doing like the tests to see like whether they're replicants or not, he was talking to. Do you remember the original like one of the original replicants are hunting down like the bald one with the beard?
Yeah.
I was saying like he's asking him the question, saying you're walking down
like the first scene in the movie, like where he's being interrogated before he shoots the guy.
Yeah, saying you're walking down desert all alone. Seems like unlikely familiar. Except saying like I felt like it was like kind of like coming back to that, or saying like I almost like. I wouldn't say like a prophecy necessarily, but I would say like things are coming full circle.
Yeah.
To like how he's the one being hunted.
That's really cool.
And then one scene, and one thing I want to kind of like, I guess like an explanation for is like So you see the scene when he first gets shot down and Joy's trying to bang on the door, and like all the scavengers are coming and things like that when he's trying to find the orphanage. And you see his missiles start raining down and Love's like commanding like whatever.
To the right?
Like,
fire.
Yeah, like giving
really
the
cool.
coordinates and things like that. But you just see this white light and it's way up there in the sky. And then you see it again in the desert scene as they're running towards
it's
the
just sort of
hovercraft.
like you
But saying,
know
like,
what that is as soon as you see.
Well,
the,
saying like
little
they
glint
never
of light.
show what that is by itself.
It's
Saying it's
fine.
always this white light. Originally, I thought it was a satellite, but then it came straight through the window.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like the impending threat.
I love
that you
how
don't
they run
see.
through walls all the time. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but there's a lot of replicants always just going through walls. I guess it's just because they're so strong.
Wait,
you remember the original, right? Like,
Yeah.
Roy's just like he like pulls his hand through the wall. He like busts his and he like he's always busting through walls.
Yeah,
and even in the first part in Blade Runner 2049, they're having the fight and he's just slamming it against the wall. And then when Kay is trying to chase after Deckard to like save him from the missile, he like bursts through the wall.
I know, and Harrison Ford looks over and seeing like that really just happened. And so one thing I kind of want to talk about, saying I think I got confused actually when I was trying to explain earlier in the non-spoiler section, saying at the end of the film, was Kay a replicant himself? Because I thought it was my understanding.
That's what I thought was cool. So he's revealed to be a replicant very early on, which is crazy because it's like a Blade Runner, a replicant hunting other replicants, and he's and he's a replicant. Like he knows that he's like, yeah, I'm a replicant. My implants are my memories are implants and stuff like that. And he wanted and with Joy, he wanted to feel special. So when he sees the vision of when he sees the memory of the horse, he's like, is that me? Because I have these memories. And he looks at the card thing that tells I guess their DNA, I guess. And he's like, so what am I? What am I at this point? You're also like, is he the child? Is he human? Is he replicant? What is he?
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the thing about in the first movie too. Like Roy wanted to be different. Like he wanted to be human. He didn't want to be constrained to a 4-year lifespan anymore. And in the end, that's what he ended up being. He couldn't really escape it. He had to. He died being the way he was meant to die. And that was kind of like what I thought with Kay, because he goes on this whole journey, and you think he's a replicant. Okay, maybe he's not. Maybe he's a human. Maybe he is the child. Maybe he's the one to lead all these
Seems
people.
built like on purpose.
But then in the end, you find out, no, he's not. He's the decoy. He was the decoy all along, and he played his role. That was his purpose for being with those memories in the first place and anything. So that's why I think him laying down in the snow is just sort of an acceptance. Going and see a real child, and Harrison Ford walks up the stairs, and he's kind of just laying there, and you're not sure if he's found peace of himself yet, or just to feel acceptance. Yeah, which I think is also cool because the whole wanting to be special thing about Kay is that when the resistance group catches up to him, they tell him you need to go kill Deckard, otherwise he'll explain all this, or he could just side with Jared Leto, or what's his character's name? Wallace. Yeah, Wallace, we haven't really talked about him yet, but he's got sort of a god complex, which I guess makes sense. But yeah, so he could either go kill Deckard, or he could just leave him alone and let either side prevail. But in the end, he wanted to, he's screw it, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go save him and get him out on my own. He decided to do his own thing.
As one thing I'm trying to understand, saying where do you get the weaponry to take down the other hovercraft? Saying
that was on the car.
It was on the car itself.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, he shot them down.
Okay, saying I wasn't sure that was other originally when that scene happened, I thought that was the other Resistance members, which I'm sure we're going to see in the sequel to this movie. Because I'm sure there is going to be a sequel of them taking down Wallace Corporation, freeing the replicants. And this is because he is one himself, the Resistant, as being part of the Resistance. I thought those were the Resistance members himself, but just the fact that he's going on this near suicide mission. I think that's really exclaimed through that, as well as just the damn scene, its nature itself.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when they were when Kay and Joy were in the car and they're flying along that dam. I think it's a dam, or that big wall or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see the ship coming through the clouds, and it's and it's raining outside, and the music is whoa. I don't know. I just love that scene because it's like when you're a kid, you sit in the car while it's raining outside. You look up at the sky and you're like, "Hey, look, maybe there's a plane or something."
Yeah, it's like you're not grounded by anything, too.
It's that similar feeling of like just seeing something like bigger than yourself. Like this whole world is just going on. You know. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, Slime, big world.
And like the music really elevated that scene. The music fits this movie just right. Like I can't think of any other way to do it. And I don't think it was too much of like we're trying to make it like the first Blade Runner music. Yeah. It was really its own. It didn't really have as much of a melody as even the first one had.
Like it's more like drone noises in this one,
and
too.
just sort of like more of like an ambient noise, if anything. Yeah.
I think one scene that really stuck out to me is saying like when Harrison Ford gets captured by Love, and except they're in like the main facility of Wall Corporation. He's like, and he's talking about like how he wants them, and they keep on progressing the AIs and things. He's like, "You don't have a child, do you?" And he's like, I have millions," and it plays that really loud like droning noise again, saying like at first you think like Wallace is just like a businessman like trying to like compete with others, when really like he sees himself as a god. He sees himself as a creator or overall. And he says a child can count the 9. That's how many planets we've taken so far. We should be rolling the stars.
Yeah. I feel like it did well. I just want to say one thing, because I watched this with my friends, and they didn't really like it. I know one of them did, and the other one was like not super into it, or maybe they didn't really get it. I had to really think about this for a while. Like I had to keep thinking about the movie, and like it just all kind of like started to come to me. Yeah. And also, I do like the ending, because the girl who's the actual child she was like trapped that whole time. Like she never really went out, did anything. She created memories for other replicants and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Kay, who was the decoy, who had the implanted memories that were hers, just to like throw people off if they went to trying to go find the child, that it wasn't like he had more of a life than she did in the end. Really, like he was more, if anything, he was more human than she was. You know. Yeah,
I hear you. And so one other thing, and I think this is one of the things to wrap it up, saying like throughout the movie, like I didn't see it friends, I did see it with my dad himself, and in the movie it plays the same exact like droning noise. It plays like each time there's like a threat, or each time like it's the movie could like you could accept it as the way it was, or it can have a deeper meaning. And I think like behind like I think I was talking to my dad at a time on the way home, and we're like, "Oh hey, what about Wayland Corporation?" I'm like, "Isn't it Wallace?" I'm sorry, I got confused. The Alien movies, I'm like, the both of them are really Scott, right? My dad's like, yeah. And except, I think the theory is by myself this could possibly be tied in with the Alien movies, using with the AIs, because because I actually do have the Prometheus.
What do you think? What's the name of Michael Fassbender's character?
Wait,
in the new Alien movies, Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
David?
Is that his name?
What else you think? He was like what's it called? Is it Working Toms or Working Joes?
What are they called?
The AIs?
I really watched it. Yeah, they're called something.
Well, look up Working Joes to see if that's it.
Walter.
Walter.
Yeah,
David.
The new version, Walter, at least for Alien Covenant.
If I can see something right here.
In Alien Covenant, he's Walter, but then he meets David, who's from Prometheus, right? David is the one from Prometheus?
Yeah.
Maybe they are replicants.
Okay, so
is that the one? Is that the scene where he goes, "I'll do the fingering"?
Yeah, I think so. All right, so like one thing I also want to kind of like reiterate is saying like Joe in the new movie, where I was saying Joy names K. Joe.
Are you seriously trying to?
I am
Alien.
No,
I'm seriously
like not saying that it's a direct connection, but saying they could exist in the same universe. Because he's saying like Joe, and like he's like the leader of the resistance and things like that, saying like he's like the higher mindset, because like throughout the first Blade Runner movie too, like they always like sought like seek out new life and things like that. And I forgot his other Covenant, the one before. Oh no, I think it's Prometheus, when he's asking David a question and he's saying like what's the point of you anyways? And he was like what if I told you I know. So what do you see the point of me anyways? Creating me anyways, because we could. I'm like, what do you say if I said that about your creator? So he's referencing God there. I think he sees that as kind of like an insult, and the reason why he poisons them with the engineer stuff is because, like, the whole point of both movies and like both Alien and Blade Runner is like so that AIs can progress further as the way they see life fit, whether it be correct or incorrect, because it's all subjunctive too.
My interpretation of the Blade Runner movies is sort of, it's always like, what does it mean to be human? Really?
Yeah, like
and identity and stuff like that.
But one thing I can also highlight is in the Prometheus movie itself, because I was so high strung in this theory that I went back to the Prometheus movie. I have it on Blu-ray. I rewatched the entire movie after I got home last night. I'm like, there's something I'm missing here. Special features, everything, and like the blanked out cuts, like the cuts that didn't make the movie. Is that there's this one email when Tyrell's walking past a computer and he's talking about an email itself is like a speech that's supposed to be like inside the movie, but like he was talking about like how his predecessors like stood on top of a pyramid surrounding the city of angels, and he made they made his perfect son David. And I think that could be saying like the pyramid, saying like
speaking of pyramids, it's the Tyrell Corporation.
Yeah, saying like the Tyrell Corporation.
So you know what? Also, I thought the imagery of like the city in the beginning was cool because if you watch the first one, you see those Tyrell buildings. You're like, wow, those are massive.
Yeah.
And then in this one, you see the old Tyrell buildings, but behind it, you see this incredibly massive building. Oh, god dang it! Yay.
Yeah, you're saying like how you see like the new build. You're talking about the new buildings?
So you see the old Tyrell buildings, which are like, you know, those giant pyramid structures, and then behind it you see this incredibly massive building which just represents like Wallace's,
so
like his ego and his god complex and like his wealth and all that.
So I think about like Wallace Corporation and like is like focusing towards like building like a working class, things like that, and like Weyland Yutani from Alien is trying to expand outwards more. I think like Blade Runner itself and seeing like the replication of like AIs and things like that, it could progress to the point where in Aliens, where like that's the future that's accepted and that's how they will get out that far.
Who knows?
Yeah, anyway, that's true. And also they did say in the new Alien movie though that the new villain is going to be more AI oriented, which I think that at least if we're, I'm not saying theory is true, but I think we are going to see an Alien movie before the Blade Runner movie. And I think time will tell whether or not they can both exist in the same universe. I just say there's a possibility, but I'm saying like it would be really interesting to see how the two could tie together eventually. Seeing like why in Aliens they have to keep on expanding out, and why do they have this highly progressive AI that wants to seek out like new life for itself constantly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I really like Blade Runner 2049.
So did I. And I think it's highly underrated.
Yeah. I don't think it's underrated. I think critics took notice that.
No. I think it's underrated because, to
the general audience.
I like certain friends that went to go watch it. They didn't watch the first movie, so they thought they can get pick up everything in this one.
I don't know if you kind of do have to watch the first movie.
Well, because the first one establishes like the tone of the universe. Like saying, if you watch this one and you're into it, you're like, oh, whoa, these like sets are so cool and things like that, as well as a concept. But if you're not like looking into it, and you're looking into regular sci-fi, you're like, is this movie trying too hard and things like that? Like this movie isn't for me. And so my friends that went to go watch it when I didn't want to go watch with them, saying like they're like disappointed just because like they couldn't see the world of Blade Runner as it was supposed to be seen. They saw something that's like just like overly expressive when it shouldn't have been. But I think that's like the beating Blade Runner itself.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Anyway, did my camcorder just die? Anyway, I guess we'll put this in the video anyway. Whatever.
It's the same, just people.
This has happened before. I didn't expect the battery to go out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. You can find us on this podcast on YouTube and hopefully Bandcamp. I'm working on that. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.
See ya.